welcome back to One in a Million channel. My name is Eunice Chan. Let me situate myself a little bit. Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly, because one of the last couple of videos that I did, my voice was really muted and it was really hard to hear what I had to say. So I hope that this transmission actually comes through properly. So let me know if you guys can hear me. Welcome to this video. Today I have a very big message that just landed in my body for you. And so this message is for those of you who feel like there's a huge energy that just landed for you and you don't really know what to do with this big, beautiful, expansive, light energy that you are just surrounded, imbued by, and you want to understand essentially what is going on. And I have personally experienced this a few times in my life where I just felt like I was touched by the divine, either in my meditations, in my life. There are certain moments where I felt like there's just so much that's coursing through my body and I really didn't know what to do with it. It was like a very unfamiliar feeling. And so I really want to talk about the 5 reasons why when we encounter the light, we deny it. It's almost like saying like a no, like trying to push back on the light that is trying to take over our lives, and what to do about it. We're going to talk about true surrendering today. This is a very powerful topic. Again, this is not for every single person, but if you find yourself coming face to face with your own light and you want to take this leap forward to embrace the message that the light has for you, embrace this new lifestyle, welcome this energy into your life, I think that this is going to be a very beautiful message. I hope that this lands in a different way for you. So with that said, let's dive in. So one of the first thing that I want to mention about experiencing the light is that because we are so used to old ways of programming and we're so used to old ways of thinking, mostly fear-based thoughts, the things that drive our behaviors and actions and decisions that make us feel like, oh yeah, we've got everything under control and things have just been moving the way that they have been. We don't have to reassess how we have been living. We don't really have to rethink about, our energy. We don't have to rethink about our decisions. And it's just kind of been like, we've just kind of been running on autopilot. And when we receive this new frequency that's coming into our lives, a lot of times it can feel like an interruption, like an interference, like a rude awakening of how we have been doing things. And so it can feel really scary because it's very confrontational. It can feel like everything that I know, now I have to think about again. Like I kind of have to reassess everything again. And it could take time. For a lot of people, it could take, questioning yourself and self-reflection, a lot of contemplation, a lot of questioning, a lot of sleepless nights, just asking these questions and trying to find answers that you don't really have the words to ask. And you don't even know who to ask, probably. So that's probably why, that's probably one of the reasons why we deny the light. We feel afraid of the light. We feel afraid of this level of power and energy in our lives because it's so big and it's so unfamiliar. And we don't really know what to do with it. So actually that's the first reason we keep the light out of our lives. Whenever it comes into our life, we're like, no, not yet, I'm not quite ready to advance into this level yet of thinking, of living, of being, is because I just don't really know what to do with it. Like when you ask me, what do I do with this kind of energy that I feel in my body? Well, practically, there's nothing I can do. I just move on with my life, just keep doing the things that I've been doing every day. But I don't know what to do with it. Like practically, there's nothing that I can really execute out of this energy. Yes, it feels so good. Yes, it feels so expansive. It feels so amazing. It feels like I am just connected with pure love. right? But what can I do with this energy? I absolutely don't know. And so a lot of times it feels like if I don't know what to do with something, especially having lived on this planet for so long and operated in this way, in a very probably a transactional way, in a practical way of thinking, sometimes when things don't feel very practical, we tend to feel like we don't really have anything to do with it. We can't really make use of it. So that's the number one reason why we push the light out of our lives, even though it's already here in our doorstep, it's already taken over our body. We already feel this presence of this energy in our lives, but because we don't have an answer to it, we tend to just block it out, ignore it, say not yet, maybe later, right? Come back later. So that's the first thing that tends to happen. So, reason number two is that there's a very deep seated fear that is rooted inside each of our hearts. And it has taken its place from a very long time ago, right? This is how we see the world. This is how we operate. This is how we function for a very long time because like thinking it from fear and operating from fear is all who we've known ourselves to be. All the decisions that I've made in the past, the person that the character that I've developed myself to be, it was based from a fear protection mechanism, right? There are loving parts of me, there are the expansive parts of me, but then there are the parts where I just felt like it's built out of fear. It's built out of conditioning. And so if I were to let go of that part of myself, then who am I even? Right? Who am I without my fear? God forbid if I let go of that part of myself, I don't know who I am anymore. Then I'm going to lose my sense of identity. I'm going to lose my sense of self. And that's actually a really scary feeling. And so I think for a lot of people, we're afraid of letting go of what we know about ourselves. That is the biggest part when we come face to face in confrontation of our light, because the light confronts all the parts that are not true to us. The light literally shines, it shines light on the parts of us that we have manufactured and manipulated to show the world so that we can be safe. But then the light casts out those shadows. And in order for us to accept the light, we must come face to face with those shadows. We must confront those shadows and ask ourselves, like, which do we want to choose? Do we want to choose to continue to live in fear? Do we want to choose to continue to make decisions out of our old character, our old personalities, the old mask and facade that we have shown everyone just because it has worked so far, right? And now we have to make the decision to let go of that past identity so that we can step into who we truly are, even though it means that, yes, we're going to have to redefine ourselves. We're going to have to get to know ourselves again. We're going to have to spend more time with ourselves, even though it means that, like, I need to have a complete identity facelift. It still it still means that I have to let go of the person that I used to be. So that can be a very scary thing. So this is reason number two why sometimes we deny our own light. So reason number three is that it's a sense of worthiness. So the next few points that I'm going to be talking about has everything to do with your identity and feelings of worthiness. So follow with me here because the next 3 points are going to be so juicy for you. And I believe that once you're able to like hone onto these shifts, you can really ride along with your new identity. Like you can ride along with this new understanding to find and reestablish your new identity. So the third reason is the feeling of like, I don't belong here, you know? Because I'm so familiar with my darkness. I'm so familiar with my fear-based ways of thinking that I don't even know what is my place in the light. Like, is there even a place for me? Am I even worth it? Is it even part of who I am? And I feel like that deep sense of unworthiness can really show up. It can really be highlighted when the light is shined upon us. It can make us feel like this is not my place. You know, I better retreat back to wherever I came from, whatever fears. I better pick up all the fears that I've had, because this kind of light, this level of love, this level of frequency and energy, it certainly does not belong to me because I don't know it. And it can feel like just a plain flat rejection because it's not my place to be here. So number 3 is your sense of worthiness. So so the reason number 4 of why this happens is a misunderstanding in your identity. And I think that this is why mentorship and coaching and spiritual guides and healers, their roles are so important, because when there is a misunderstanding, like a mismatch in your identity, who you have known yourself to be versus who you truly are, and when you have forgotten that identity, like when you have disconnected yourself from that identity, it can really feel like the light is here to save me. Like, it can feel like I just don't belong in this identity, right? There's such a huge distance between the light and who I am. And so it feels like this energy is like coming down versus um, the concept of me just recovering my true identity. And so when you can remember that you are light, you are made of love, and you are the divine in physical manifestation, like, this is just the best thing ever. Just to remember that you are made of that. Not that there's someone else coming down to save you, not that there's something that's of a higher realm that suddenly decided now you are worthy enough, but you are reminded that you are made of the light. You are the physical manifestation of the light. This is what you're made of. So there's no detachment from them versus me. It's not that all of a sudden they've decided that I am worthy enough now, so then they've decided to come down and save me. It's that I am just coming back to who I really am. And that's such a powerful shift, because the moment that I really understood this and I decided that it is my place to reclaim this identity, there was no more separation. Like, I no longer felt bad that I no longer felt bad. I no longer felt undeserving. I no longer felt unworthy. It was just this feeling of like, just relief of coming home to myself. And that felt so good. So this is a reason number 4, is that, most people have a misunderstanding of themselves, and a true remembering of who you are and what you are made of is going to help you come back to your real identity. So the reason number 5 we deny our light is, this is the last reason, is that because this feeling, and I'm sure so many of you can identify with this, if you have felt this light like take over your body and take over your light, take over your life, light, light, light. When you feel this energy take over you, it can feel bigger than anything you have ever held before. It can feel like your physical body cannot even contain it. It can feel so much bigger than your human being. Like, I just don't know what to do with it. It's so big. Like, I can't ignore it. I can't brush it away. I can't I can't not look at it. It's so big. It's taken over me. And I'm afraid that I'm going to drop it, because all of a sudden it just came to me. Like, I didn't call it to come to me. It just came to me, right? So there's this fear. The fear part of us is afraid. It's afraid that it's going to lose it, and at the same time it kind of wants to push it away, because the fear wants to stay. So then we create this drama, we create this dialogue, like, what if we lose it? what if we cannot hold it because we are so small? What if we cannot contain it? What if we drop the ball? What if we mess up this time? Then the light is going to leave us, right? And if we don't decide that we're going to do something about it, then the light is going to leave us because maybe we're undeserving or maybe we haven't done anything with it. And so it's just going to leave our bodies. And so the one big thing around this like big expectation is that we feel like because it's so huge, we're going to disappoint ourselves because we cannot hold it, because we are not made for it. We're going to drop the ball, and then eventually we're going to be disappointed. And then we start experiencing the disappointment in the first place. We start experiencing like the sense of failure, the sense of like, I just lost it because it was too big for me to hold. And so I think this is probably one of the biggest fears when we come face to face with our light, because it's so good that if I just allowed myself to taste this light, like if I actually just allowed myself to be in it, to live in it, to be in the embodiment of it, and then all of a sudden, like I just let it take over me, and then one day it just decides to leave, then I'm going to feel even more hurt and even more disappointed than if I had never experienced it in the first place, when I regress and fall back into my lower frequencies or old ways of living. And so there is this very big fear that if this light leaves me, it doesn't choose me anymore, right? Like it's almost like I'm not the chosen one anymore. Then all of a sudden I'm going to fall back on my old ways of living. It's like then I cannot be saved because I can't even hold on to this thing that is so good for me. But one thing that I want to remind you of in this video, especially for those of you who are just on the edge of wanting to expand into the light and also riding on the edge of like, I don't know what to do with it. It's so big for me. I don't know how to contain it and I don't know how to interpret it, is that like this is a really big reminder for you, because you are made of the light and you don't have to have all the answers of what to do with the light, because that is not your job. This is the light's role, literally to guide you, to show you like what it can do and how it wants to manifest itself into the physical form for you. So once you allow the light to guide you into your being and your living and making your decisions and just like creating this new, allowing yourself to become this new identity that is imbued by the light, you no longer have to be the CEO. You don't have to be the executive decider of the one who makes all the decisions. You literally just get taken over by the light. You experience it and you let it guide you and show you of what it can do for you, right? This is the light's role. That is its sole purpose. That's its job, right? You don't have to take the job of the light and say, I experience this big light in my body, I experience this big wave of energy, and then you're going to go here, you're going to go here, I'm going to assign you to go this. Like, you don't have to do that. That is the role and the purpose of the light. And all you have to do is just become the vessel. Like, you just have to become willing. You just have to become open and receptive to this kind of energy. And don't let yourself push away the light because of your fear, because of your fear of disappointment, because you fear that it's going to leave you, because you fear that you don't know what to do with it, because you fear that you're going to drop the ball, because you fear that you're going to lose your whole identity, because you're afraid to reinvent yourself, and all these different things that you're afraid of. Do not push away the light and let it just take over you. And even if it means that it's going to sit in your body and sit in your life for a good while, like for a month or two, even if you don't do anything different, even if you're living exactly the same life and you're doing exactly the same things, doing your same routines, Just allow yourself to be in that kind of energy and feel safe to be in your light. Because once you start to surrender yourself into this kind of energy, then it becomes a normal for you. Then it doesn't freak out your nervous system, right? Then it's no longer like too good to be true or too good for you. Then you become deserving of it because you start to believe that, you know what, if it sat with me for so long and if it stayed around and if I can actually accept this feeling, maybe this is who I am. And so I want to remind you that you are made of the light. You are the human embodiment of the light. And all you have to do is just sit back, relax. And I know this is going to be really hard for some of you. It's like, I'm so used to like fighting against myself. Like, no, guys, like just sit back, relax, and let the light take over you. Just experience what it has for you. So, let me know if this video was helpful for you guys, because I know that when I experienced the light, when I experienced this level of power within myself, it just felt like I don't know who to tell and I don't know who's going to understand. And I want this transmission to be for someone who has all the questions and who doesn't have any answers. And I really want to be the one who shines light on all the things that you have been asking, you have been wondering about. So I hope that this gives you the clarity, the light, the hope, the reassurance that you are looking for. So hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And with that said, I will see you guys in the next video.